So, Kamaru Usman, I owe you an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game. Well, I'm very much familiar with your game. I just didn't expect it to hold up as well as it did while pushing 40 on a 3-loss streak. So today we had the comeback of Kamaru Usman taking on Joaquin Buckley in Atlanta, which I don't actually know where this is located in America, but I've seen the show. Shout out to Donald Glover. With one of the most yo must have forgot performances I've ever seen. Because who gives a fuck about pushing 40 when this man's aging like a fine wine? And age means nothing to him. Not like in a weird creep way. I mean, like, he's moving like prime Usman out there. And hell, who's to say he hasn't even entered his prime yet? Not even reached 40, taking on a young, hungry contender like Joaquin Buckley, dominating him, taking him down with ease, and winning a very clear decision. Unless you're Mike Bell, for some reason, giving Buckley 2 rounds. And as a Buckley fanboy myself, I'm not going to suddenly switch up and just say, Buckley always sucked. No, I think Buckley is tough, dangerous, and a good contender. I just think Usman is that good. Granted, he didn't really have much to offer on the feet against Buckley. However, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot. Oh yeah, he can wrestle people. Since the last fight that we got to see him do all that in was the fight where, you know, he got head kick KO'd in. And a lot of people thinking higher of Buckley's takedown defense. But yeah, I really can't take anything away from him in this. Considering the age, the layoff, the loss streak, and losing to Bilal Muhammad on his podcast, I honestly think it's one of the best wins in his career. And with all that jibber jab out of the way, time to address the elephants in the room. Yep, I made this. So yeah, needless to say, I don't think there was many people that doubted Usman as hard as I did. I mean, don't get it twisted. The vast majority of people were doubting Usman. I just didn't need to go so premature on the title and thumbnail, I guess. Hell, even the biggest Usman fan on MMA YouTube was having his doubts.
And I don't think Kamaru Usman's going to win because one of my favorite fighters, I'm sorry, but we're going Joaquin Buckley for the win.
Granted, I'm sure he's a lot happier with the result than I am right now, so shout out to Kenny. And you can have the Usman fans that are showing up now saying they knew all along what was going to happen, even though they didn't put any money on it or any stakes on it. But the fact that everyone was doubting this man all along is what makes this win so special. Usman's going to get to have a great time on his podcast, pretty much telling all of the doubters to go f themselves. And who doesn't want to watch that on the Pound for Pound podcast? Especially because I know we're not tuning in to watch Henry Cejudo. So Usman fans commenting telling me to delete my video, they can get f***ed. Because this is MMA heritage and we should be able to look back on the fact that I was proven wrong and I should be publicly shamed for it. Bum, the disrespect was crazy. He ain't lying, to be fair. Unk still got it. Put some respect on his knees. I'm gonna put respect on his knees. Yeah, nice fucking going, Mr. Hater. I'm not an Usman hater. Plus, who the fuck doesn't get a prediction wrong? I'm sure these Usman fans were picking Leon Edwards to win in the trilogy fights. All of you doubters are delusional ones that know nothing about MMA. Bunch of casuals with your TikTok memory. All of you guys shove it. Like, does that make sense? You know what I mean? You're a casual for getting a prediction wrong. Like, so you've never gotten a prediction wrong ever before, you know? So yeah, most people were picking Buckley, and in my opinion, for valid reasons. I mean, the way Usman was even walking backstage looked like he needed crutches. Had nothing to do with hating on Usman. If you've watched the channel at all, you know I don't shy away from who I hate. And to be fair, I had my doubts seeking in when I saw this man showing up like my sleep paralysis demon, showing up jacked as hell, with the heavyweight king by his side. And if you're watching this audibly, then I don't mean John Jones. I'm talking about Francis Ngannou. And even Usman doing his walk up to his opponents in the face-off in the cage was tough as fuck. I mean, we joke about it, but I think it's time we really start taking all-time aura into account when predicting fights now. And after him winning, I would say as wholesome as it was, I would be happy for him if it wasn't for this video hanging over my head. But I genuinely felt bad seeing him emotional after being doubted by everyone, and especially talking about the, you know, us bums online talking about his knees. Maybe he isn't looking past Buckley. Maybe he's going to be better than ever at 38. With his knees about to explode any second now, with a head that's a sniper's dream. Moving like a 2021 Usman knocking Buckley out, to then limp over to the camera with his glass knees, yelling to the cameraman, "Put some respect on my knees!" And I sit here today to tell you all, I put some respect on them knees. Though I'm pretty sure they're still made of glass and they will shatter someday now. However, until that day comes, I'm putting respect on them knees. And I can understand why he's annoyed with people speaking about it, especially dickheads like myself. However, the fact that he's made the legacy for himself that he has with them knees is honestly incredible. And listen, I'm not praying on this man's downfall or for his knees to die on him, but why Buckley didn't throw a single oblique kick is a mystery to me.
Boy, them knees is brittle, you know, like no foundation at all. And I'm scared, like, he might not even make it to the walkout. He gonna have to crawl to the cage.
But instead opted to spam uppercuts about 10 feet away from him. Just anything. A rolling thunder. Eye poke him. Dick kick. Stop throwing uppercuts. So yeah, if you were wondering why my voice might be a bit rough today, that's why. Why are you throwing the uppercuts? But yeah, I got my Buckley prediction horribly wrong. Though I stand on it, he was a favorite for a reason, and I had my reasons. It just massively backfired. Perhaps I got carried away with Buckley's generational unk-slaying run. Maybe his knockouts, maybe his takedown defense. But one thing's for sure, Uncle Kamaru still got it. And I, for one, had to learn the hard way, being completely sleep-deprived on my 6th monster of the night, screaming at 6 a.m., begging for a miracle. Eye poke him! Again, not because I hate Usman or nothing, just because I have to deal with this. So, what's next for Kamaru Usman? Well, I have no fucking idea. I know Usman's asking for a title shot, and I'm sure his fans are all for it.
The UFC is an entertainment company. You want to make the biggest fight. It's going to be the winner of JDM and Islam. You know, if Islam pulls that one out, former pound for pound, current pound for pound, who doesn't pay for that?
Kamaru, so just going on that, you feel like basically tonight you got yourself a title shot, you got yourself the winner of JDM Islam?
I mean, you don't feel like that? Who else?
You're the biggest name, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm asking you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But considering he's coming off a 2-year layoff on a 3-loss streak, I really don't believe beating Buckley, as good of a win as I think it is, warrants a title shot. But with Tom Aspinall not getting a title shot and Yair Rodriguez getting a title shot rematch, I really don't know what the fuck does warrant a title shot nowadays. Considering the beef between the two, I think most fans want to see the Usman-Bilal Muhammad fight, and if he doesn't want to take the fight, that's perfectly fine. I just think the UFC should blackmail him into it by threatening to leak the Bilal podcast. And even if he is aging like Benjamin Button, to be coming off a 2-year layoff, it's time to keep this man active. And if he does beat Bilal Muhammad, pure cinema and a title shot. Not to mention, nobody wants this fight more than...
I wanted him to get on the mic and call me out. I think that's the next one that makes sense. That's the only fight that makes sense. If you're talking about the division, we have the history. You know, we've been going back and forth. It's a clear #1 contender fight. You know, he's calling for the belt, 185, 170, but I'm #1. I'm still the guy at the top. So let's do it.
But also, nobody wants this fight less than...
I know your eyes are on a title fight, but if the UFC comes to you, that's also a pretty big fight. Former champ for former champ, a lot of backstory. Is that something you would entertain if the UFC, you know, came to you about it?
Who is it?
Bilal Muhammad.
Who is it?
Former welterweight champion Bilal Muhammad.
Next. I forgot it. Next.
But if it's not meant to be, then maybe Usman could do the coolest shit ever and save us all from Ian Gary. And as much as I might want him to be Ian Gary or Bilal Muhammad, if he does get a title shot, I'm not going to cry over it. He's a legend. He's a big name in the division. He's the unk that stopped the ultimate generational Buckley unk-slaying run. That was the cringiest thing I've ever said. Also, it's kind of hard to have a leg to stand on in this division when it's been dishing out a Colby Covington freebie. And with the man having less than 2 years before hitting 40, and with my newfound respect of those knees, which I still think their days are numbered. Let's see how much more legacy this man can squeeze out of his career before it's all said and done. Even though I still stand by the fact I think the roadmap of beating Islam and JDM and Dricus du Plessis is delusional. But hey, clearly he's proven me wrong before. I'm sure he can do it again. And if he does, I'll be the first one to admit it. So yeah, to round it up, I was wrong. Usman's him, and I'm genuinely sorry, Buckley. I think I might have cursed your career. But with the year we've been having so far, Volkanovski winning his belts back, Usman back in the win column, I'm beginning to believe Charles de Bronx Oliveira might just get his belt back. So if you want to make good money, just make sure to always bet the opposite of what I pick. Because believe it or not, I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just an idiot that likes to make videos. And with that being said, I haven't slept since I posted this video. I'm running with 6 monsters right now. I'm very sleep deprived, and I need to get some sleep, and no doubt see my sleep paralysis demon tonight.
Sign up to my boy's YouTube channel. That is JG2. And for those who don't, you can do me a favor and you can bend the knee to King Triple C2.